Hi there, I'm Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, and you are listening to the Football History Boys podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Football History Boys podcast with me, Ben Jones, and as always, Gareth Thomas.
Hello there.
So this week's episode is a Champions League / European Cup special. We're going to be looking at some memorable moments from the tournament's history, as well as having a closer look at the tournament that started next week. And we're going to also do a couple of quizzes, a couple of games before looking closely at the proposed reforms to the current Champions League format set to be introduced in 2024. So, Gareth, what's been going on?
Well, we are just off the back of the international break, aren't we? Kosovo, England last night. Kosovo pushing England, very, very much pushing. They won the second half, as people were saying, 2-0, 5-3 at St Mary's Stadium.
Yeah, interesting. Why was it played there?
I presume it was to do with attendance. People were saying actually Wales' game on Monday against Belarus should have been played elsewhere because I think only 6,000 turned up to that, and that should have been played maybe at North Wales.
Not great, yeah. I was talking to my barber the other day actually, and he said he had tickets for the Wales-Belarus game, and then he saw it was windy, rainy, and thought, nah, you know what? It's not worth it.
And I think it was 20 quid as well, and you're like,
Stayed home.
Why on earth have you charged that for a friendly against Belarus?
Should have done it. Should have done it free for kids.
Yeah.
Gone all in.
Yeah.
Definitely. Not the best result. Well, 2 wins, but against Minnows, Azerbaijan and Belarus. And
can wins be deflating? They feel like they are, actually.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the Belarus was a comfortable 1-0. Azerbaijan should have been comfortable. It was looking comfortable, but they struggled to get that second goal, Wales, don't they, to just put teams to bed.
Yeah, and I hope that doesn't come back to bite us. I mean, Giggs, who says united the fans, really, in terms of all the Welsh Premier, Cardiff, Swansea, Newport, Wrexham, all the fans are sort of united in thinking Giggs isn't the right man for the job.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are saying, let's not be hasty. Remember the bad old days. But actually, I don't want Wales to remember the bad old days. I want Wales to kick on and say, let's be a footballing nation, like someone like Iceland, who have kicked on and are challenging to top their group. There's no reason why Wales, with the infrastructure that exists in the Premier League and the players coming through Premier League and Championship, can't compete at the highest level. It doesn't look like it's happening under Giggs.
No, I mean, we could talk about Wales all day, to be honest, couldn't we? So,
Champions League.
Yeah, we're going to go to Champions League / European Cup. Have a look at because we touched upon it last time, the tournament which is starting on Tuesday, and there's some absolute blockbuster games straight away. What have we got?
Dortmund, Barcelona. Oh,
huge,
cracking game.
I'm thinking. I think since the Barca lost to Roma, when Roma came back, and then they obviously lost to Liverpool 4-0. I think that era of invincibility around Barcelona has disappeared now. Yeah. And I think anyone going in against them, especially when they're playing at home, so when Dortmund are at the Westfalenstadion and so on, they're going to think, we can beat these.
Yeah,
easy.
And Dortmund have had a brilliant start of the season. They beat Bayern Munich in the Super Cup. Shock loss to Union Berlin just before the break, but have been flying. So I think, Jadon Sancho and that could have a field day against Barcelona.
Who won the Spanish Super Cup?
I don't think it's taken place yet, has it?
It hasn't, no. It's actually taking place in January. I think it's in Dubai or Qatar. Maybe it's Qatar because that's where the World Cup's going to be in a couple of years' time. But it's a 4-team tournament with Barca, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Valencia. And I think it's like 2 semi-finals and a final, purely to boost the game, I guess, and get a bit more money in the pockets of especially Barca and Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's a bit like it's taking us away from Spanish fans, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
They didn't get their way, did they? They wanted to take La Liga games abroad, but obviously that didn't get their way and it was voted down. So perhaps this is La Liga, of the Spanish League's way of saying, let's go and take some games abroad. Yeah,
so those first games, we got
Liverpool-Napoli on Tuesday as well.
Napoli. I mean, I was telling you before we went on air today about the goal show on BT Sport because it's your first year with BT Sport, isn't it?
Yeah, can't wait to have it back. I mean, I've had obviously been to the pub to watch all the big games, but not to watch the everyday Champions League games. So I'm looking forward to that.
So basically, it's like Gillette Soccer Saturday, but with the goals, with the free kicks, with the penalties, with every decision you need, being watched by Raphael Honigstein, Julian Lorenz, James Horncastle, and I can't remember the last one. Sorry, but yeah, basically it's 4 European journalists presenter, and they watch the games, but you watch it as well at the same time. So if there's you can watch Napoli Liverpool as well as the Barca game at the same time.
God, so I want that for Wednesday then, because it's Atletico Juventus, PSG Real Madrid, Shakhtar Man City, Bayern Munich, Zvezda,
Yeah,
Red Star Belgrade.
So
that's going to be cracking.
Yeah, I thought Wesley Schneider did a good job in the draw of pronouncing all the names.
He nailed that, didn't he? He'd obviously been practicing Red Star Belgrade in the native language, but we were laughing at Ashley Cole. Actually, he struggled with some, but in fairness to him, some of those teams in the Europa League are very hard to pronounce.
Yeah. Brilliant. So let's have a look at the listeners' most memorable moments of the Champions League / European Cup, because that's what we asked you all this week.
Yeah, we put a couple of Champions League questions out, didn't we? One of them was, what is your favourite moment? One I got just before we came on from my friend Lewis Williams, and it's one that we watched together a few years ago, actually. It was Gareth Bale's overhead kick. I know it's not one of your favourite moments.
No.
And I think
that was Liverpool fan.
We were all wanting, really, Liverpool to win, I think. And then Bale came on, and obviously he'd had a bad season. And, I mean, last season was worse for him. But at that point, it had been his worst season at Real Madrid. And then he turns up and smacks that overhead kick. Oh my gosh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Zidane, he obviously didn't go on with Zidane, but Zidane was shocked by it. And they went crazy with his family. We were watching it together and they just went mental. Yeah, what a moment.
I'm going to start with the listeners' moments.
Go on.
So Lanarkshire FC, who we mentioned in the last podcast, actually, but one of their dream teams, their most memorable moment is actually concerning Red Star Belgrade, and it's when they lifted the European Cup in 1991. It says Red Star honour players who are deemed to have had a major impact on the history of the title, and as such this team has been honoured as the 6th star of Red Star. Prosinecki and Savicevic, the big names in that team. Now, I actually watched a clip of the Red Star versus Bayern game from that season's campaign, because of course those two are playing on Wednesday, and yeah, Robert Prosinecki, he's incredible. What a player. I watched a montage of him then, because I remember when we did our first top 250 countdown when we first ever started.
Yeah.
And he was one of the players that got quite a few votes at the start. And I have to admit, I hadn't heard of him. And I've looked him up since, and what a player. So yeah, that's a good moment, that, because it's probably the last time sort of one of the lesser known European clubs has won the European Cup or Champions League, because since then it's been the same old story, really. Yeah. Maybe Dortmund in '97 was a bit of a shock, but otherwise same old story, same old teams. Porto perhaps, but yeah, there you go. Yeah,
we've got one here from Tyler Hughes. Don Matteo's great goal in the San Siro that ensured qualification to the next round of the Champions League for Leeds United in the year 2000.
Don Matteo, that's the name from the past.
At the expense of Barcelona. So yeah, I mean, that was when Leeds weren't stuck in the Championship. That was when Leeds were...
Leeds were semi-final, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Sean Lewis saying Lucas Moura last year in Amsterdam. That was a good moment. I was gutted for Ajax, but that was a superb moment for Tottenham.
That was, yeah. Actually, that moment that you said about Dominic Matteo, I think Anthony Lewis got the same moment, actually. So 2 Leeds fans there.
Big Leeds fan,
yeah.
Someone here, Chris... John Terry's slip.
Yeah, I think
the
I
tears
that as well,
in the rain, wasn't it? The tears in the rain, yeah.
Yeah. We've also got Anne Solskjaer has won it. So the 99 final played in Barcelona between Man United and Bayern Munich. That last 2 goals in the last minute from Sheringham and Solskjaer. I mean, even as a Liverpool fan, you've got to say it's an incredible moment. We had a couple saying, of course, the miracle of Istanbul.
Of course, 3-0 down at half time.
That's an obvious one, isn't it?
To win on penalties, unbelievable. Yeah, that is ingrained in my memory as a year 8 as a sort of a 12 or 13-year-old, just being, oh my word, what a moment.
I came to school the next day with a Liverpool flag draped around me. Someone's going about Ajax here. They started the fixation with total football and they began to play. Because I actually asked, didn't I, as well, who do you think the best team was in Champions League history? We've had quite a lot of replies. I gave 3 options. I gave Ajax 71-73, Real Madrid, that initial 56 to 1960 team, and then I put in Liverpool 77-84, and then other. So please comment. We're going to go back to that in a bit, but there's a couple more moments here. I've got a Newcastle moment, haven't we?
Yeah, Coleman had a dream. He's a big Welsh fan, but he's also a Newcastle supporter. Newcastle's come back from 3 defeats to win 3 in a row and qualify for the second group stage with a 3-2 win versus Feyenoord. Bellamy with their last gasp winner, 2-0 up, pegged back to 2-2. Bellamy wins it, and he says it's the first time he ever swore in front of his dad in wild celebrations at home. I can imagine for a Newcastle fan that must have been an absolutely massive moment. We've also got Gerrard's goal versus Olympiacos.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh yeah, beauty.
Yeah, Andy Gray, of course. More Than a Game 66. Lehmann sent off in 06 and subbing Robert Pires. Maybe the saddest moment he's ever felt for a player, sitting down knowing his Arsenal career was over, his last game.
I remember watching that happen, actually. I remember thinking that's changed the game, well, ended the game really, because I remember Arsenal were playing really well. Lehmann got sent off. Then Arsenal did take the lead, didn't they, if we saw Campbell, but then I think they just ran out of steam.
Yeah.
Couldn't hold on anymore. Zidane's goal here at Hampden Park. Of course, that incredible left foot volley. So I've got about Patrick Kluivert in 95 for Ajax. And Arsenal beating Inter Milan 5-1 at the San Siro. Specifically, Henry turning one of the greatest fullbacks of all time inside out. Now, the San Siro is actually another moment I'm thinking of. Do you know what I'm thinking of? Big moment.
I am.
Concerning a Welshman.
Yeah. Another Gareth Bale moment.
Yeah.
Another Gareth Bale moment. That
4-3.
hat-trick.
Yeah.
That hat-trick. That's what really announced him on a European stage, wasn't it? We've talked about Bale plenty of times in the past, and his struggles initially at Tottenham, wasn't it? Talk about the £3 million move to Birmingham, and all those different things. And then he started to announce himself. And that Inter Milan game, I think, will stick with him probably for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I mean, they lost the game, but I think he was still a left back then, wasn't he? I think he was number 3 when he did that. And then I think everyone saw Flippin' Eck. He's pretty good at scoring goals, moving forward, and the rest is history, as they say. So amazing moment. We've got Drogba's header against Bayern Munich here.
Yeah.
I hated that game because I remember watching it, obviously, with our mate Ollie from uni, and he's a huge Chelsea fan. But I remember Bayern Munich completely dominating that whole game. And then Chelsea had that one chance, and it's an amazing header, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't stop those. And then, I mean,
Drogba was a man for a big occasion, though, wasn't he? Drogba was the man for the big occasion.
He won a match Champions League that season all by himself, pretty much. He played out of his skin, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he knew he was going to leave. What a player. Some fantastic
Some huge moments there. Let's take a break and then we'll come back and discuss some people's best ever Champions League teams.
Cool.
Okay, so let's have a look at the results of the poll then about the greatest ever Champions League side.
Okie doke. So we got 198 votes, which is pretty good for one of our small daily polls. Very close, actually, the final result. Ajax, 20%. Real Madrid, 56-60, 24%. Liverpool, 77-84, 26%. But the one that came out ahead was Other, with 30%. So most people, obviously, preferring other teams. And I'll have a quick look now. I think most common was actually the Lisbon Lions, the Celtic team from 67.
That's a fair shout.
I think one Celtic fan got on it, and I think they retweeted it, and a lot more Celtic fans jumped in and made their case that is the best team. And if you look at the sort of facts around it, it was pretty impressive how they all 11 players were from, I think, within 30 miles of the stadium.
Well, from the Glasgow area, wasn't it? I think
absolutely incredible. and obviously it's one of our most important moments in football history. How the Catenaccio style of Inter Milan in 67 had been dominating Europe, but that sort of negative football, and then this team, Jock's team, isn't it? They came in and revolutionised it and played this attractive game, beat Inter Milan, and yeah,
10 miles. 10 miles of Celtic Park. 10 miles. That is crazy, isn't it? That is absolutely crazy.
You wouldn't see that again. It's what a lot of them have actually said. A lot of the fans who've commented on Celtic have said you would never see that again. And they're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Unless like a local team from Cardiff or something went on to win the Champions League.
Athletic Bilbao, perhaps.
Yeah, the Basque, yeah.
Yeah. Another popular one, of course, was Pep's Barcelona.
Well, I was in the barber's yesterday, and my barber, Ross, he said his team of choice would have been that Barca team.
They were just phenomenal. We've mentioned them in the past. We mentioned that, Messi, when we were talking about our best players, and Busquets. But that side was, for us, certainly at the age we were, watching so much football in our teens, just unbelievable, wasn't it?
You know a side's good when you can quite easily recall 1 to 11 without any problems.
Oh.
Victor Valdez, Awardale, left back. You got PK, you got Puyol, you got Dani Alves at right back. What a player he is. Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa, Pedro, and who was the last one? I missed one player out.
Neo.
Well, they clicked up. Yeah, Messi, there you go.
Leo.
How can I miss out Messi?
I think you were joking.
I was thinking of the Spanish team, I was completely,
No, Messi, of course. Just sensational. Just sensational to watch. I absolutely loved it. They gave a few kick-ins to Real Madrid as well, didn't they? Yeah.
Madrid gave them a few literal kick-ins as well.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yeah, I was watching actually on YouTube the other day. All of Ramos's red cards against Barcelona, which is hilarious. So there's a video. It's about 7 or 8 minutes long. Just red cards against Barcelona. Another one people mentioned is the AC Milan team. Italian at the back, Dutch flair at front. Perfect. That's Peter Thornton. He's tweeted us quite a few times in the past.
And a couple of them, didn't we? A couple of Milan.
It is a phenomenal side when you look at it, actually. Maldini, Van Basten, Rijgaard.
Baresi.
Yeah. Marco Simeone, Baresi, Ancelotti as a player.
Tassotti.
Yeah, Costa Curta, Colombo, Ruud Gullit. Yeah, what side?
That's incredible.
Side. That is an incredible side. So, yeah, I mean, it's caused some good debate, and I've enjoyed that in the lead up to the Champions League. It's been good to have.
I think actually one of the talking about AC Milan teams, the team that lost to Liverpool in 2005, that I can name that 1 to 11 again. I'll not forget anyone like Messi.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing team as well. I mean, you got
it's madness.
Dida, Cafu, Nesta, Stam, Maldini, Gattuso, Pirlo. You got Ambrosini might have played. You got Shevchenko, Crespo, Kaká. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I mean the fact that side lost to
Seedorf,
Liverpool is that Liverpool side when you look at the comparison
with Jimmy Traore.
Yeah,
and a bench consisted of Biscan, Nunes, and the like Scott Carson.
Yeah, I mean, even there's not. Carragher was a great player, but Carragher still wasn't in that European.
Yeah, Carragher and Nesta aren't.
Yes,
not quite in the same category now.
No, they're not. Absolutely not. I've enjoyed people's opinions on that, and as we said, we look forward and we'll chat later about how the Champions League, the European Cup, could look in the future. Just out of interest, if you are interested in that Real Madrid side you mentioned, I wrote an article a few years ago, but it's worth looking up on our website. We've tweeted out, we'll tweet it out once we send this pod out too, about the beginnings of the Champions League, or the European Cup as it was called then. Real Madrid obviously dominated those early spells. They racked up a huge number of European Cups, 5 in a row, wasn't it? And obviously that was Puskás and Di Stefano and people like that in the side. But really interesting how it started, and you can look at our website, thefootballhistoryboys.com.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at TFHBS.
You can have a look on our Facebook too for the Football History Boys.
And then if you want to talk to us, send us anything, then you can email us at thefootballhistoryboys@hotmail.com.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Shall we have a cup of tea, and then you have a new quiz for me, I think.
Yeah, it's a good quiz.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. Just before we do your quiz, Ben, I just saw at time of recording his company's testimonial tonight. Great player. You laughed at my idea of including in my favourite 11 ever.
I didn't laugh. I scoffed.
You scoffed. But as I said, it was a personal favourite ever 11, and I absolutely loved Company. But as some people have said, his classic Company, he's had to pull out his own testimonial injured. So feel sorry for him. But,
apt.
It is apt. Yeah, maybe that is the best thing for his testimonial. It sums up.
Yeah,
his terrible.
Nah, he was a great player, an excellent captain, and a very intelligent bloke.
Yeah, you'll make a great manager. You'll make a great manager. Anyway, let's have your quiz then.
Right, the quiz is from Match Magazine, so I'm sure a few of the listeners, when they were younger, would have collected Match Magazine like we did.
I had it every week for about 3 years. From Jay's the newsagent, which doesn't exist anymore, sad, in Cardiff. And I used to go with my mum after school to pick up Match Magazine. Oh, it was brilliant.
I used to get mine from Sainsbury's in Thornhill, but there used to be a newsagents next to it and like a Blockbuster, but they got rid of them. But I used to have a subscription there and I used to go and pick it up. But yeah, anyway, we can talk about the closures to shops for about 5 minutes, so we're not going to do that. Right, okay, so this is from May the 9th to 15th, 2005-2006 season. I'm looking at the front cover now. Just got champions Chelsea, John Terry lifting the trophy. FA Cup final showdown, Gerrard and Rio Coca. And then Rooney's injured before the World Cup. Shearer's just retired. Middlesbrough have reached the UEFA Cup final.
I remember that. They were a good side.
But the main thing in this week is the European Dream Team, which Match has picked from Europe's hottest stars. So your quiz is to guess. Your quiz is to guess a team, but I'll make it a bit easier for you because that's a bit difficult to guess it on the spot. So each position that they have 5 players.
Okay.
And then you just need to pick who they picked.
Okay.
Simple enough?
Okay.
So remember 2005-06, remember what happened in that season, that Champions League season?
Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal losing to Barcelona.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So here are your goalkeeper options. So there's some great names in these who, if you played Where Are They Now, we'd struggle. Okay. Right. Jens Lehmann, Marco Emilia, Iker Casillas, Gregory Coupe and Petr Cech. Who did they pick?
God. So Match Magazine is British based for our foreign listeners, which we do have foreign listeners as well. Thank you to everyone who listens outside the UK, quite a lot as well. A lot of countries.
There's actually quite a few.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned that, have we, before, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who listens
really
literally all over the world.
All over the world, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Match is a British magazine, so I think they will have favoured Petr Cech just because I think it should be Iker Casillas, of course, but Real Madrid hadn't won a lot then, so I'm going to go with Petr Cech.
Okay, they've gone for Jens Lehmann. Okay, so obviously Arsenal made the final. They've gone for him, so that might sway your thinking.
Okay, yeah. He did a wee, didn't he, on the side of the pitch once, so I remember that.
Yeah, and they've mentioned it because he saved Riquelme's penalty in the semis in the last minute. Big moment, I'm sure. More than a game 66, we'll be happy with that. Right, techno about options. You've got to pick 2 of these 5, okay? Okay, you have John Terry, Chris from Lyon.
Oh my word, yeah, I remember it.
These are good names. Okay, I'm guessing it's... You know the manager of Watford? How do you say his name?
Quique Sanchez Flores.
Quique. Right, it's not him, but someone the same name. Quique Alvarez of Villarreal. Yeah, I don't know. Colo Torre and Carlos Puyol. There you're 5.
Puyol is Champions League finalist.
Yeah.
Oh, and Colo Torre.
Yeah, well done. Got them both. So... I mean, John Terry just won the league again, but Colo Torre had a fantastic season.
Yeah, he was good. He had a good couple of years, didn't he, Colo Torre?
I think that was that Puyol really stepped it up, didn't he? They spelled his name wrong here, though. They got Carlos Puyol, but it's Carles, isn't it? There you go. Right.
Charles.
So you got 2 of 3 so far.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. Not bad. Okay, next choice, fullbacks. Okay, 2 of these 5. Hatem Trabelsi. Remember him?
No, I don't.
I think he went to Man City for a bit. Javier Zanetti, Emmanuel Abue, Gianluca Zambrotta, and Rafinha, the one who went to Bayern. But she's at Schalke then.
Yeah.
So they're the 5 best fullbacks in Europe.
That's crazy. 2006. I think my match are wrong there, but anyway. Zambrotta.
Yeah.
I don't know this. I'm just going to go with who I think it should be. And Emmanuel Eboué.
Yeah, it is.
it?
Yes. The super quick right back has become the surprise star of the season, stepping up in for the injured Lauren. So they go Eboué and Zambrotta, who then, of course, a couple of months later would go on to win the World Cup 2006. There you go. So you had a fantastic season. So there you go. Right, so you got 4 out of 5. You're doing well, yeah? Okay, wingers. Pick 2 of these 5. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Simão, Embrim, he was good, and Amentino Mancini from Roma. He did all the step overs at one time.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Simão Sambrossa.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it's just too early for Messi. Just read the first. Who's after Messi?
Ronaldinho.
I go Ronaldinho and Simão.
Okay, so Ronaldinho, yep. World Player of the Year. He bagged 7 goals in that campaign.
What a player.
And the other one was Cristiano Ronaldo. I know, I'm surprised by that as well, 2006.
Yeah, go on.
21-year-old.
Hot
dazzling
talent.
tricks. Yeah, pretty tasty goals as well, it says.
And you wouldn't have predicted that he'd go on to be the goal scoring machine that he is back then, would you?
No, not with Messi either, to be honest. They love wings.
How's that album? Sorry, I've just seen on the back of the Match magazine there's the Football Crazy album. That was a brilliant album. It was football chants, football songs. It was like a pre-World Cup thing, I think, but it was brilliant.
Yeah, it's got features classics like Crazy Frog, Tony Christie's, Is This the Way to Amarillo, but they changed the
Is This the World Cup?
Yeah.
Vindaloo was on there. Good that. Sorry.
Yeah, for $10.99 for HMV. Remember when CDs were a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right,
It's
okay.
making me feel old, this.
Centre midfielders, pick 2 of the 5. Okay, Juninho, Michael Ballack, Juan Riquelme, Steven Gerrard, and Kaká. Oh, that's a hell of a 5.
Oh. I think they've gone Gerrard. And everyone loved Riquelme. Riquelme was like linked to the Premier League so often as well, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I think Match loved him. I just remember Match loved him. I remember the Football Ramble loved him as well back then. I'm going to go with Gerrard. It would be Kaká potentially. Go Gerrard and Kaká.
Okay, Gerrard, correct. Yeah, he scored 21 goals that season. Pretty good for a centre mid. Obviously, then a couple of days later, he scored that 35-yarder in the FA Cup final against, in the last minute.
Yeah, I watched that. Interesting one. I watched that in Cardiff High Street, Queen Street.
Did you?
In the window of Dixon's.
Oh, amazing.
the TV sellers. I watched that. I was watching it there. I think we'd gone into town to get the atmosphere. That was it. We used to
I did that as well.
I used to go to town because when he was in Cardiff, been held there for a while while Wembley's been rebuilt, and we wouldn't have got home in time, so we just watched it in a TV shop with loads of other people.
I went in, but I think I got back in time for the game. Right, the other one was Riquelme.
Oh, it was Riquelme.
Yeah, so he obviously made the semi-finals.
Yeah.
That season, magical right foot, free kick king. Didn't do much for Argentina though at the World Cup. A few months later, didn't he?
Yeah, he was really highly tipped and then just sort of fell away, didn't he?
Okay, strikers. You got Samuel Eto'o, Andrei Shevchenko, Luca Toni, David Villa, and Terry Henry.
I think Henry's got to be there, and I think it could well be Eto'o alongside him.
You are correct, yeah, Henry. So he obviously captained them to the final.
Yeah.
I think there's that. That's looking at the Arsenal there. It's got that really nice kit, that maroon final year of hybrid.
My favourite ever kit of all time, maroon kit. Favourite ever kit, and I wish I could have bought it. Actually, to be honest, I looked at it the other day to try and buy it, and it's still so expensive online because I think it's
probably quite a big thing now.
It's such a loved kit. Yeah,
it is. It's timeless, isn't it? If someone had that kit now, it wouldn't look out of place.
No,
whereas some kits they do.
And you would say to people, "That is a lovely kit." Still.
Yeah, I think even their keepers' kits now. Arsenal, well done. So anyway, Eto'o, the other one. So 25 goals in La Liga, 5 in the Champions League. Yeah, so not bad. I mean, there were some suspicious players in that list, wasn't there, altogether? But how many did you get in the end? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in the end. 7 out of 11.
Not bad in my 2006
That's probably one of your best ever in our quizzes. That's not bad, is it, to be honest? But to be honest, Match Magazine is pretty good to go through. It's just a good little, timely reminder of what it used to be. Yeah,
isn't it?
It is at hhtkhy because even you got the different things, articles and stuff. But you've also got the adverts and stuff, which are quite funny, as you said. Football Crazy and HMV.
Great album.
But yeah, not bad. Well done. Excellent.
Good. Well, I want to bring back that Match Magazine. Maybe we'll do that every so often. We'll bring back a Match Magazine.
I got one for next week. It's looking at the planet's hottest wonder kids from 2006. So we might see. Maybe we'll do a Wonder Kid special and see who worked out and who didn't.
Yes, I like that.
Freddie Adu.
Freddie Adu. Was he 13 when he signed?
I think so.
A massive contract with Nike.
The next Pele.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where is he now?
Wonderful. Let's take one more break and then we'll come back and discuss the reform to the Champions League. We'll go back and discuss that. It's been a hot topic when we posted it on our Twitter. We got a lot of angry people thinking that we were suggesting things.
Thinking it was our idea.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not our idea. Don't blame us. Blame UEFA.
Stop.
But not Infantino because he's a friend of the show. Anyway, we'll have a break and we'll come back in a minute. Okay, so the Champions League topic this week, but it's up for debate, it's up for reform, it's been in the newspapers, it's been in the tabloids, but it's been across Europe seemingly. The discussions for the future of the European Cup. We'll just go through with what UEFA suggestions are. So we mentioned, I think, was it on the first pod or maybe the second pod, the UEFA Super League, wasn't it? And the proposals of the Super League and how lots of the big sides were going to break away and have their own Super League. And so the Champions League and UEFA have come back with a proposal to try and keep people on side. Now, it hasn't seemingly worked, but these are the proposals as it stands. Okay, so what they're saying for the Champions League, it'll turn in 2024 into 4 groups of 8. So 4 groups of 8.
That's already a bit bonkers, isn't it?
Already crazy. First line, already a bit crazy.
Stupid.
Meaning a guaranteed of 14 matches in the initial phase. So you play each other twice. You play home and away, 14 games. To make that interesting, because of course you could have a load of dead rubbers at the end, the top 4 from each group, so obviously making 16, go through into the knockout phase, the last 16. 5th place keeps its place for next season.
So they qualify for Champions League.
So they've qualified again for the Champions League next season.
The top 4 have as well.
And the top 4 have. So the top 4 and the top 5 are all in the Champions League next season.
So 20 teams are already in.
Hang about. 6th and 7th play another 2 legs. So they've already played each other twice. They played each other another twice to stay in the competition next year. So the winners of this stay in the Champions League next season. So
24 teams are already qualified
for the Champions League. Yeah.
So Champions League is that still 32 teams?
Yeah, 32 teams.
Yeah. So it's
24.
Oh dear.
So obviously 7th drop out, and the bottom club 8th place drop out. They are replaced by the semi-finalists of the Europa League.
Oh no. Oh.
And to be honest, I'm not too sure where the other 4 teams are coming from. I can't work it out.
It'll be playoff, won't it?
There'll be some form of playoff.
Oh no, that's horrendous.
This was UEFA's serious proposal, set out to all the clubs, agreed and pushed for by numerous people.
Isn't there like a European Club Association?
Yes.
Isn't there?
Yeah, headed by
Van der Sar's big, isn't he?
Yeah, headed by numerous people. It's headed by, I can't pronounce his name, forgive me, Agnelli, the Juventus chief executive.
Oh, Juventus is quite big for this. I think purely because there's little competition in Serie A these days, and they're probably thinking, give us a group of 8 where we can play Real Madrid, Liverpool, PSG, for example, they think.
Yeah, so it's called the European Club Association, and they talked about, they've had a meeting over the international break, and they've had various discussions about what's coming, and this is why we know it's coming in 2024. UEFA have protected the Champions League as it is until then, but they've said that reform's coming, and its chairman, here you go, Andrea Agnelli, the Juventus chairman, and he's also chairman of the Club Association, has said that reform is very close to being agreed. This is summarising what he's saying, but reform's very close to being agreed. Clubs are at the heart of the decision making, but that ultimately reform is coming. We must invest in the youth, incentivise youth development, reinforce clubs' social impact. Talks about bringing women's football to the next level, which is brilliant. All these brilliant things that he wants to do. But as he sees it, he says that reform has to come. Nothing's set in stone. And here it is. I think we came to the conclusion after talking to the Club Association over the past couple of months, that more European football is inherently good for the game. We strongly believe that whatever the future holds, we must maintain a strong symbiosis with domestic leagues. Well, that's positive to hear that they want to protect domestic leagues.
Well, I say it.
He says that.
Yeah.
He says clubs are at the heart of it. But this is going to ruin, surely, domestic leagues. Just to go back to the Champions League proposals, to win the Champions League, you will have had to play 21 matches. 14 in the group stages, and then to get to the final and to win it, 21 games. Well, 21 games is going to eat massively into a domestic season.
Yeah, it's
They're
just
talking
a
about
way of,
weekend football.
It's basically just the European Super League remodeled, isn't it? It's just a way of making
pacifying
that happen.
them and UEFA keeping control.
Yeah, Van der Sar, I know he was quite a big... he wanted the change, didn't he? Because he thought Ajax obviously came within a second of reaching the final last season, and this season they had to go for the playoffs and they almost didn't qualify. So he said it was a scandal that someone who'd done so well the season before had to go through playoffs. But, personally, I think this current system's fine.
Well, and we've discussed that, and I've chatted with friends as well, and we've said that actually we love the Champions League as it is. I know people say that actually there's why should top 4 teams be included? For me, I find the Champions League really, really entertaining.
I think it's a great format.
I think it allows other clubs to qualify, as we've said, Red Star Belgrade, people like that have got a chance to come in. Atalanta, first season in the Champions League, to protect the places like they're doing there, with 24 places being solidified and the Europa League providing the next 4 teams. It's crazy.
Well,
crazy.
I've seen a couple of different versions of this Champions League proposal as well, because I was watching the debate on Sky the other day, and they had a second group stage as well.
Yeah, which is harking back to some sort of old World Cups and
Champions League.
European
when
Cup.
I first started watching Champions League, probably around turn of the millennium, there was 2 group stages then.
Yeah.
And the second group stage was always quite entertaining because I think it was 4 groups of 4, but they'd all have pretty good teams in there. So you'd have, again, 2 games against each other, but really high standard.
Yeah.
I think one year Liverpool had Barcelona and Roma in their group, and it was quite good.
And this, of course, includes the 3rd tier competition now. And that 3rd tier competition is where they're talking about these, I don't like saying smaller clubs, but we'll call them for the sake of this, smaller clubs, take part. So this is where the other countries get their shot. And their wording of it is you can earn your way into the Champions League by winning the competitions, moving up the levels. It just seems crazy. It's caused quite an uproar on our Twitter, and we posted the picture of the proposals. Various people from across the world, Spanish-speaking people, having a go at us, saying, "Oh, what ridiculous proposals is this? It's not our proposals. It's UEFA's."
Yeah, I think they thought we'd come up with the plan.
But it's interesting we said that maybe it's not so widely known outside of Europe what's going on. Obviously, it's the Champions League. It's like us knowing about the Libertadores.
Yeah.
South American people know, but everyone thinks it's ridiculous. I don't know where the thinking for this is coming from. So we've asked people.
People's pockets and it, trying to fill it.
Yeah,
that's basically where it is.
We've asked people what they think, because it's obviously going to influence us all, things that we like. There seems to be quite a different opinion in this. So here we go. Mark Small, scrap all competitions currently in place, make one huge 2-leg knockout tournament with 5 and 12 teams.
That's something like you do on FIFA, isn't it? And you go create a custom tournament. You just put loads of teams in, but yours put in your own group. Someone really bad, so you can stuff them.
Yeah,
but okay. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but hey, it'd be entertaining.
FA Cup fact file. They've applied with number 1, champions only in the Champions League. Okay. So that's a bit like when it first started. It used to be the champions. Get rid of the league stage. Okay, controversial. So yeah, that can't be called Champions League anymore. Just one leg with a replay if needed. Maintain the midweek games, which I would agree with because I quite enjoy
absolutely,
that. Yeah. Share TV money and prize money across the league and bring back the Cup Winners' Cup. So of course he then names the FA Cup fact file the big into the FA Cup. So yeah, I think the Cup Winners' Cup obviously gives an incentive to the FA Cup even more. But yeah, I mean, like you said before, they're introducing a third tournament anyway with Europa League 2. So instead of the Cup Winners' Cup, they got that now, haven't they?
Yeah, I think we chatted about that, and I absolutely see where people are coming from when they say Champions League for champions only. The problem is you narrow down who's going to win the Champions League that year, I think, because we can say that, absolutely, Red Star Belgrade and every league should be represented, however many, if you want to do 32 European leagues represented, you still only going to get the winners probably coming from either Italy, Spain, Britain.
Yeah, you're going to get the same winners. It's not going to change who wins it. I mean, it would mean that if you had just the league winners in there, so there was 32 league winners, so on, teams, say your Welsh team automatically qualified, it would mean they got more money pumped into the club because they're in that bigger tournament, but also having, TNS playing the champions from, I don't know, Moldova, no one's going to want to watch it.
Well, the problem is that the revenue
unless you're a
there.
TNS fan or a Moldova fan.
The revenue wouldn't be there, would it? I mean, I pay for BT Sport horrendous amounts of money as well as Sky Sports. As loads of hundreds of other people, pubs. I was reading somewhere like pubs, it costs them something like £20,000 a year to show the football, and obviously all those pubs across Britain and Europe showing it. So the money wouldn't be there for a tournament like that. The appetite wouldn't be there, and that's what I think UEFA are playing on, is that if we can make this massive tournament, there'll be money there. Now, it doesn't make it right. Yeah, it would make it a more incentivised in terms of money, wouldn't it?
Just having a look at the European Cup from 1981 when Liverpool beat Real Madrid in the final. Just seeing who they had to play to get there. So Liverpool, I mean, there was a first, second round, then quarter-final, semi-finals and final. So there's only 5 rounds.
Yeah.
They played Aulan Palosura in the first knockout round, which they won an aggregate 11-2. So no real competition there. Then they beat Aberdeen, who they beat 5-0 aggregate. Then CSK Sofia in the quarterfinals, 6-1. So, I mean, the competition's not really there, is it? And the semi-final, they played Bayern Munich and they go through there. But and the final's obviously a difficult game. But those initial games are not exactly the glamour ties of these days. And I don't think it just works anymore.
And as I mentioned with the article I wrote about the start of the Champions League, the European Cup, as it was back then in the 50s, it wasn't that Real Madrid had easy teams to play. Throughout the tournament, there were some tough ones as we got to the later stages. But in those initial stages, Real Madrid were far better than everyone. I think people remember with nostalgia, perhaps. There's nothing wrong with nostalgia to look back on things. But competitiveness-wise, we're not going to have as a competitive a Champions League if we just make it Champions only, or just say Champions and the domestic cup. Like a lot of people want to see is that Champions and FA Cup get a place.
Yeah.
Welsh John here, suggestion. It's probably something that's so far-fetched it'll never be considered. 3 competitions, so a bit like FA Cup fact file. Champions Cup for champions only. A cup for the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place in each league. It's quite interesting. And then a cup for the winners of each association's cup, so the FA Cup, the Copa del Rey, so on and so forth. All to be played, home and away ties, and a draw made after each round. Finals on a one-off game on a neutral ground, so an updated version of
I remember when they changed Champions League to having 4 teams from the top 5 leagues qualify. So England, Spain, Italy, Germany and France. Before that it used to be 3, and I think before that was 2, and then before that was 1. But I remember in 2001, when I'll go back to Liverpool again, but when we won the UEFA Cup in 2001, I remember it being quite a competitive tournament, because I think we had to play Barcelona, Roma, who had a very good team back then with Cafu and things like that, Porto and things like that. We had to play quite difficult games in order to reach the final, because I think if you came 4th and 5th, you went to UEFA Cup, and before that it was 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on. So there was a bit more competition in the UEFA Cup then, but there's no real appetite anymore for the Europa League, I think. Ever since it ever since it really changed its name, I think it sort of lost a bit of that feel.
I think it depends on the clubs, innit?
Yeah, true.
For the clubs that qualify and it's their first taste of European football, or their real shot at the Champions League. Remember Sevilla? Did they win it 3 seasons in a row?
Yeah.
For them, absolutely brilliant. It gave them a route into the Champions League. They dropped out of the Champions League. They'd win the Europa League again. So for a lot of clubs, it is. But last season I watched the final in where was I for the final? Arsenal versus Chelsea this season. I was abroad somewhere, and I watched it. And of course, it was popular. Of course, there was hundreds of people watching. I was in Poland. That's where I was. Hundreds of people watching in Poland. But almost, no, it's not what it means anymore. It's Arsenal versus Chelsea in a big cup final. You think it should mean a lot more than it does. And I don't think it does anymore. So
no.
yeah, I think UEFA has to do something. What that is, I don't know.
I mean, you look at Champions League this season. They got some amazing ties straight away in the group stage. I think they've changed, didn't they? I think last season or season before that the league winners automatically are first seed as well as Europa League winner and the Champions League winner. I think that's been quite good because it has meant there's always 2 big teams in each group.
And so you should that again Champions League. So Zenit were a top seed. Now people would say Zenit aren't a top seed in terms of the side there, but they've won their league. Russia are high enough up in the Confederation points that they get a top seeding. Fair play to Zenit. They won their league. They should be top seeds.
Yeah. So and then there's a lot of teams now. Because there's been the Champions League recently, you often have a team that comes out of nowhere and just does quite well every season. I think thinking of Roma a couple of years ago, and I think Monaco a few seasons before.
And Ajax last season.
And Ajax, of course. So the third seeds now are often quite decent. So this year there were quite a few good ones, Inter Milan and so on. So yeah, I think it's all right now. I think it's perfect myself. But
yeah, and that was our conclusion. Maybe that's influenced by the fact that our football heads start in about the year 2000, but
if you win it now, I mean, if you win it, if it changes, you've got to be a real champion.
Yeah.
I mean, last season they had to beat Barcelona, they had to beat PSG, they had to beat Bayern Munich, so they had to beat champions of 3 different countries there, and
Napoli were no pushovers.
Napoli again, yeah.
Travelling to Red Star,
Porto champions as well, I think so. Yeah, I mean. You've got to be the best to win it.
I understand the finances of it, and I think that's what people come down to, and that's what, as you said, Edwin van der Sar with protecting Ajax. People have said that the finances aren't fair, and that's where the money needs to be spread fairly, perhaps. We had a couple of replies saying similar things of how, it isn't fair that the big clubs dominate the money. We've already touched upon how that's what attracts people, as I said, in Poland. Loads of Polish people watching that final because they do love British football as well. They love the big sides. Gustav Torres said UEFA is responsible for the enormous concentration of wealth and quality footballers in European football that is making the transfer market unsustainable. Mm-hmm. We've had very similar things about how the Champions League has made the market unsustainable. Obviously, crazy fees. We talked about Neymar in the past and the fee that was paid for him. I think maybe that's a slightly different issue, but of course that money needs to be there to fund the clubs who are spending that much on transfers, isn't it?
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, let's hear your views as ever. Get in touch at TFHBS on Twitter.
Email us at thefootballhistoryboys@hotmail.com.
And of course, Facebook, look us up, The Football History Boys. We'd love to hear your opinion on that as we head into the Champions League next week.
Last thing to note, the Women's Champions League started today. Lyon, the champions, they won their first game 9-0. Centre back Wendy Renard scored a hat-trick.
She's class, isn't she?
Class. She was a bit dodgy in the World Cup in the latest stage, but she scores so many goals.
Yeah, she does. She really does.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Okay, time for Guess of the Year?
Yeah, love it.
Let's have a bit of Guess of the Year.
Come on in.
Okay, you did very well last time. You got it after about 4 clues, I think.
What was last time?
Messi's birth date, but you got it before that. You got it from the first ever Rugby World Cup.
87. Yeah, cool.
Okay, Guess the year. Okay. The first J.D. Wetherspoons pub is established by Tim Martin in the London borough of Haringey. So the first Wetherspoons is a great pub, again, to our foreign listeners. You can order on the app now. That's cool. But anyway, when did that happen?
Great pub. Not such a great owner. But there you go. Weatherspoons. They sort of sprung up out of nowhere. There's loads of them now. 1980. Just say 80, yeah. Random.
Okay. ESPN, the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. Television networks is launched on cable television in America, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the 7th of September that year. The network was created by Bill and Scott Rasmussen, and it's a channel dedicated to sports.
Okay, so I'm thinking of this on like Sky Sports. I was in Britain in the early 90s. Oh, but I think in America they might have had it a bit earlier with the cable. And I know in The Simpsons, Homer tries to get cable so he can watch the sport. I'll go for 85.
Okay. Pope John Paul II visits his native Poland. He becomes the first pope to visit a communist country.
Okay, so that gives it a clue because communism fell in the Eastern Bloc in around 1990. I'll go 85 again.
Okay. The United States and the Soviet Union reach an agreement during the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, better known as the SALT Talks, SALT II, during this year. US President Jimmy Carter, so there's a clue, and Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev signed the SALT II treaty. So it's to limit arms being produced across Europe.
Oh, okay. So because you said Jimmy Carter, you limited it now to 4 years. It's between 76 and 80. Oh, 78.
Wolverhampton Wanderers set a new national transfer record for 1.5 million. Signing Andy Gray, Sky Sports' former.
I'll go for 1980 then.
Gloria Gaynor releases I Will Survive, and Blondie releases The Heart of Glass. Good songs.
80.
So
98.
give you a slight clue, 2 clues left. Daniel Bedingfield, female cricketer Charlotte Edwards, Pop Idol winner Will Young, and rugby legend Johnny Wilkinson are born.
79.
Nottingham Forest win their first ever European Cup.
79.
79, correct. Well done.
I said 80, didn't I, on the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
1979. Nottingham Forest. I thought I'd throw you, but I mean, maybe you were thinking along the lines of maybe Liverpool or.
You threw me a bit, yeah. I didn't know how long John Paul was Pope.
Ages, seemingly.
When did he die? 2005, something?
So I remember him, yeah. Ages.
Yeah, he was there for a while because the next one wasn't very good, was he? But what's the new ones? Season ticket holder, isn't he?
San Lorenzo.
Oh,
he used to be a San Lorenzo. Yeah. There's pictures of him in a San Lorenzo kit in Argentina. Yeah,
with a flare.
Francis. Yeah, loving it. Loving life. Brilliant.
He wasn't an ultra, was it? Or was he?
He may well have been. Fair play to him if he was. Fair play to him if he was.
There we go.
Anyway, it's been a fun episode, this one.
Yeah.
We will be back in perhaps a fortnight's time. School's getting busy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Both of us teaching.
Yeah.
School's getting busy, but we will be back nice and soon. If you've got any ideas for a future episode, if you want us to cover anything, as we said, get in touch at the usual places. All the best with your fantasy football for this week ahead.
Oh yeah. Who's ahead at the moment? Going into this week? I'll give it a quick check now because I think the listeners are on tenterhooks, wanting to know.
Not me, sadly.
Who is the top of the table? I think I've moved up quite a bit actually. So I've had some good weeks. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Football History Boys League table. Toppers. Tom Routledge.
Hey, we used to go to school with Tom.
Yeah. His team is Boom Shaka Laka. 264 points. He's 20 points ahead of Matthew Chapman's Vamos Lagos.
Did he have a very good week? How many points did he get?
83.
Oh, a huge
And
week.
you are down in 7th.
I've dropped significantly. I haven't looked, to be honest, because I dropped from first and I don't want to go.
Oh, mate. I've gone up to 26 now.
Yeah.
214. So I'm only at 20 points off you now. So I'm a good week away from getting into that top 10. Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, it's time that I need to go and plan a lesson.
I've planned on mine. I'm way ahead.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, listeners. We will see you again. Goodbye.
Ta-da.